Judy and I, in the very beginning, Judy had worked at United Jewish Federation at the time, and I had been in the non-for-profit sector and started to see emerging needs for women and girls that were unmet in our community. And we put our head together and said, we can do this.
In the beginning, it was just an idea. And it was a time when many women were going back to work, had their own incomes, and we felt that it was a time that we could talk to women about their own philanthropy and also combining that philanthropy to be more impactful, not only in the Jewish community, but in the general community.
So we decided to be pioneers. We're now celebrating 20 years of grantmaking.
Their enthusiasm was contagious, but I didn't need a whole lot of selling on the idea of women coming together to work collectively to positively impact the community.
Judaism has a principle called tikkun olam, which means repair the world. And all of us have an obligation to repair the world. What's wonderful about Jewish Women's Foundation is it gives us all that opportunity, not just through donating money, but through giving money to organizations that effectuate social change and support women and girls in our community.
You've seen that we've been able to move the needle and the lives of women and girls, and that is dynamic and wonderful.
I think that with more and more women able to independently participate in philanthropy, that the opportunity is there for women to make a difference for women.
One of the most powerful aspects of the Jewish Women's Foundation is its collective nature.
When a woman decides to become a trustee, she is then eligible to become part of a group of women that collaboratively make decisions on grants that are presented to the Jewish Women's Foundation. We have a pool of money that they decide how they want to allocate among many compelling and fantastic proposals.
There's been so many programs that we've funded. The list is incredible.
We funded underserved girls who really didn't have the opportunity for tutoring for the SATs.
Three Rivers Rowing. The organization is designed to stimulate young women in their agency by literally participating in rowing.
The Yeshiva's Girls' School of Pittsburgh, and they had asked for a grant to improve their 9th grade science curriculum. And they were almost borderline in tears of joy of what it was to learn science. It changed their lives.
I always think the Women's Law Project was very impactful. We learned about the programming that they did that literally changes the lives of women and girls across the country, frankly.
The Women's Law Project is a nonprofit, Pennsylvania-based legal advocacy organization. The Women's Law Project would not be here without grant funding. And we're particularly grateful for the kind of funding that we get from the Jewish Women's Foundation. And we get to partner with the foundation. The thing that gets me out of bed in the morning is the fight for reproductive health rights and justice. We have a case currently pending before the Pennsylvania Supreme Court to establish reproductive autonomy as a protected right under our state constitution.
One of the organizations that our trustees are very fond of is called Open Field.
So today, we're gonna start off, we're gonna do what we usually do, warm up, we're gonna do some skills. We do soccer programming with a social emotional learning basis with immigrant and refugee youth. I think that people learn some of the greatest lessons about teamwork and life and perseverance through sport.
When I first come here, first I didn't know other girls, but when I was playing it, I get to know them, and now we become friends. my coach, Coach Chloe, she encouraged us more, like how to be a better person.
Our kids are like the most awesome ever, and I'm really honored to play soccer with them every day. So
we will take a pilot program, something that other foundations might not be willing to take a risk on. And so Upstreet was one of those opportunities where another great partner in the community, Jewish Family and Community Services, was looking at starting something new.
There was sort of a lack of services, mental health services for young people. And so ultimately that became Upstreet. JWF initially funded us to support our peer mentoring program, developing our training protocol and coming up with the processes and procedures, how to recruit mentors, how to train them once they came in, and supporting all of the work that went into that initially. Grant funding is hugely important to the work that we do, primarily because we don't charge anybody for any of our services. So we're able to offer free therapy, we're able to offer the peer mentoring program at no cost, we're able to train the mentors at no cost, and we're able to do the brief support services at no cost.
On occasion, we give signature grants to organizations. Those organizations have included the National Council for Jewish Women's Center for Women, which is now called Mom's Work.
The trustees decided they wanted to do something with bigger impact. They wanted to give away more money and do something longer term, and that became the Center for Women. That started in 2012. We did funding of $75,000 a year. It ended up being for 6 years. For us, that was very significant. It was a $450,000 grant overall. Today, they go by Mom's Work, and the impact of our dollars from Jewish Women's Foundation are still in effect in terms of what we started and how it's evolved to continue to help women in the community.
We offer a lot of different opportunities. So kind of first entry level is just support. So we have a working mom support group.
Finding other moms who understand working a 40-hour week and mothering 24/7 and who understand the difficulty finding a balance between those two is really important to know that you're not alone and the struggles are not just ones that you're going through, but faced by many other moms and women.
Then we also offer education. So if someone needs help getting their budgeting together, getting their finances in order, getting a better job, connecting them with resources like with career counselors.
In the fall of 2013 is when my husband unexpectedly left me. I wasn't expecting it. I just didn't know how I was gonna make it. I tell people all the time, after he left, I started packing up my house, thinking there was no way I was gonna be able to keep my house. You know, there was just no way. Then there was a workshop that talked about renting and owning, and one of the volunteers I got to talk to, and she just looked at me and said, "Why not?" And I laughed. I thought she was joking with me. But she just seriously believed I could do it. And I was like, okay, you know, and I have, and I still have my house.
When I started in 2003, our founders, Judy and Pat, had brought on board about 40 women to do grant making. Since that time, we have now had 169 women invest in the Jewish Women's Foundation. Our mission is not just to impact women and girls in our community, and that's extremely important, but we're also here to help trustees learn about those issues and for them to become philanthropists. We started the Young Women's Giving Society to really bring the next generation of women into our philanthropy world, that they can develop as leaders, understand these same issues, and really are the future of the foundation as we continue to grow through the years.
JWF was looking for a way to get younger women involved and also to increase its impact. And it's been able to do both through the Young Women's Giving Society. Over the past number of years since we started, we've had 56 different women involved with the Young Women's Giving Society. And with the generous matching grant that we get from the Jewish Women's Foundation, we've given nearly $60,000 in grants. I think it will continue to be a place where young women can come together and make friends and learn about philanthropy and also learn about the JWF, because I think it's a way for future members of JWF to become involved at an earlier stage in life.
I'm glad to say that there's a whole new generation involved with the Jewish Women's Foundation.
I think the future clearly rests on their shoulders now.
When I think about the fact that the Women's Foundation is here 20 years later, I can only hope for its future to grow, to reach out to more women. The main reason I keep going and that I want the foundation to keep growing is that the needs are still there.
And I think sort of the essence of our foundation is you make an impact on one person's life. You never know how that's going to change their future. And that's all about, I think, the end game is we want to change people's futures. You know, every one of those grants is improving someone's life down the road. And there's still more out there to do. I would tell every woman, you know, think about getting involved with us, join us.